Hello and welcome to Efficient Strategy Gaming. Today I'd like to review a Germany USA Blitz deck that I think is just super fun to play and fairly competitive. So let's get into it here. So I finally got another elite wild card, so I was able to add GREIF to this deck. And this is quite an interesting photo here. It's the photo of the thumbnail that you see. And basically, that's Erwin Rommel in the driver, or in the cockpit there. The driver's down below him. But anyways, he's in North Africa, and it says GREIF on the side of the SDKFZ here. And basically, it was a staff car for Rommel while he was in North Africa. He also had another transport vehicle called the Mammoth. But anyway, this is the card that turns this deck on. Your other tanks operate for less than one, for one less. And if you have this card down and it's able to stay out a turn or two, you can really do a lot of damage and win the game. And we had a live stream last Sunday about this deck, and I did not have this card. And I think I had about a 68% win rate, which I think is very good. Careless Talk. Excellent cheap removal. You do have to be crafty about when to play it and how to play it, but that's okay. If you do play it and you are successful in removing an enemy unit, it's excellent, and it is a countermeasure. We have MA Greyhounds because they're tanks and they have Blitz. Unfortunately, you cannot buff them with fast HEINZ because they are a US tank, but that leads us into a good card that we have in this deck, Fast HEINZ. It's another elite card, and give your German tanks in the front line +2/+1. And I feel like if you use this to buff one or two tanks, you win at that point. So don't be afraid to play it, even if you have just one tank and you feel there's a reasonable you have a reasonable expectation that the tank will be able to survive. If you play this card, play the card. It's worth it. Combat Engineers, probably one of the best cards in this deck. Top 2 or 3. When another friendly unit moves into the front line, give it +1 to attack. And in my opinion, you're going to need 2 of these in your deck to make this deck work, because this is where you're going to do all your damage. All your units need to move to the front line. It has smoke screen, so it's going to be a little more challenging to remove. A lot of the times, your opponents will prioritize removing this instead of a tank in the front line that has been buffed. So I do like that card, and it's great. Next card here is PANZER II-A, and that's a tank with Blitz and smoke screen, so that might save it for a turn or two when it's in your support line. And I was using on Sunday's live stream 22 Infantry Regiment, and it doesn't stick to the board. Most of the times it replaces itself, which is not super useful. So you just basically put it down, then it gets removed the turn thereafter. And I feel like if it stays on the board and you're able to keep on drawing cards from it, you're going to win the game anyways, so it's not a real game changer. The main thing with this deck that you guys got to note is that you need to get past guard, and it also does not allow us to do that. So I swapped it out for 99th Infantry Battalion, and it is infantry, so it's going to turn on Panzer 35T, and it gets rid of guard for a turn. You can bounce things that get buffed, or things with guard just to deal some damage, and find a different solution on the next turn. It also has 3 defense, so it sticks to the board fairly well. So I really like that change, and this has worked out great. Defeating guard is one thing that you're going to need to do. From the deep, really good removal, especially late game. Rally, there's not a lot of decks that I've run into that use pin. If you're finding more decks that use pin, I put 2 of these in there. Patrol to remove guard. It's not going to remove a guard in most situations, but it's not going to destroy the guard unit, but it's going to remove guard from the unit. So it's crucial to have 2, maybe 3 of them. I'm not sure. Wirbelwind, Two out of 3 Blitz with ability. It's great. Panzer 35T, if you have an infantry down, it operates for 0. Beef Wagon, interesting to note, it still gets buffed by combat engineers if it comes out. If this unit is in hand, add it to the front line when you take it. If you have this in the support line, or the front line for that matter, it will get buffed. So incredible synergies going on with this deck. 3.7 centimeter flak, you have a 0 operations cost. And there's going to be a few other tanks that buff other tanks that synergize with this. So the 0 operations cost for this card is where it's at. STUG III G, just to keep people alive, your tanks alive. Pincer +1 heavy armor. Kind of a marginal card in this deck, but it operates for 1, and it has decent stats. FLAMMPANZER, a lot of the time, won't find a target for its removal, but it is a tank, and it does have okay stats, and it's one of the lower tier cards in this deck, but when you need it, it's great. Panzer III-L is also one of the lower tier cards, surprisingly enough, because there's not a lot of situations where you're going to have a non-tank unit on the field of battle, and it costs 2 credits to operate it. So excellent stats, but really hard to bring to bear. BLITZKRIEG, I upped these to 2 because it's been so great, and I've had such success with holding the front line that when I draw 2 of these in the last probably 10 games that I played, I've not regretted it. So I played games where I started with 2 of these in my hand, and they've been useful. And you could, on turn 6, you just pump out both of them, and you just win the game. So 2 of them for sure. 3 might be pushing it. Panzer III-F buffs all your tanks. Panzer III-E buffs all your tanks with Blitz. And then the Comet to finish things off. Interesting to note, Comet will not get you past guard. So if you're having a lot of problems with guard, there are 4 cards that will save you. Patrol and Infantry Battalion. An Infantry Battalion will only save you for a turn. So you might want to add a 3rd patrol. All right, let's play some games here and see how we do. Will I have egg on my face after this? Will we lose a couple games? I'm not sure, but you can have bad streaks in this game. I think I played 18 or 20 games on the live stream Sunday night. 68% win rate. When you lose, it feels bad, but when you win, sometimes it doesn't feel as good because it wasn't a very long game, I guess. All right, right off the bat, we need something to take the front line. We're in a pretty serious situation here. We're looking for that turn 1 play. We found it. Now we're looking for a turn 2 play or a turn 1 play. Oh boy, what's going to happen here? Can't play fast HEINZ. And he's going to be able to pin something here. Okay. All I want to do is sit in the front line. Sit in the front line and relax. Hopefully he can't take this out. And I can't use fast HEINZ on this card, but Panzer III-E will buff M8. So my opponent has a lot to think about. Okay. That could potentially take this out, so we just want to get down as many cards as we possibly can. And one of my maxims is to let the opponent operate their cards. I guess since there is a possibility that we could take out this card, I'm just going to get this 2A onto the front line. Then hopefully he doesn't remove either of these 2. I might have held on to fast HEINZ a little too much here. We'll see. Okay, did he choose that? See here, deployment, destroy an enemy unit with attack 2 or less. Okay, glad I did not, or he wouldn't have been able to remove fast HEINZ actually. That's interesting. Let's get another Greyhound out and just hold the front line. Put some pressure on him. He could have the Japan card that will take out everything in the front line. Bombardment or something like that. That will hit 3 damage to the unit and 2 to the adjacent units. So he could wipe me out here. So I'm going to hold on to fast HEINZ. If there was 2 German tanks in the front line, I think I would have used it. But we put quite a bit of pressure on him. Damaging the opponent's base helps quite a bit. Puts a clock on the game. Wonder what he's pondering here. Oh boy. Okay. Piece of removal. And I like that he removed the American tank. I don't know what he's thinking. Just removing the American tank. Okay, we found our win condition. I could put this guy up front. He could remove it. Let's try to get in some more damage. And then just impress upon our opponent that he's going to lose here pretty quick. Could I have 1 right there? It was 14. A 3 and... No, it was a 2 and a 1. 6. No, I couldn't have won. Okay, that was okay. I'm assuming something else is coming down here. 100%. I can win next turn fairly easily with what I have on the board. Okay. So we're going to need more. He has another one of those. He can remove this tank. All right, we got a patrol. I'm going to hold on to the patrol just because I know he might have a guard in his hand. And I feel like that's pretty strong. Pinning is removed. I don't have to worry about the surprise attack removing the tank. And I feel like we got enough out, and we've got the cards that we need to win the game. So, fingers crossed. And mainly what you want to think here is, let him operate his units. Doesn't have enough to remove this. I don't even think I need to play anything else. I guess that's good game. That's my game ending. Let's try another game. I like my game finishing move sound better than than Cards is. All right, so we're going to be coming out with another deck real soon too. And that one's going to be based on countermeasures. So look for that one coming up. And what reminded me that is Night Hunters. This plane is on that card, Night Hunters, and that's a countermeasure for Germany that's quite strong. We'll see what happens. Doesn't look like there's a lot of opponents online right here. And that's kind of how these games go. It's going to last till like turn 6 or 7. If you're in turn 8 or 9, you're going to have a lower win percentage, but you are still able to win. Sure. Let's just battle against the AI. Get a game going. A lot of the times when you choose that, they still give you an opponent, so... I just really want to go through the mechanics here. General Sato. So is this AI or not? I don't know. Let's see if he responds. Oh, yeah. I like this hand. PANZER III-L for later, maybe? General Sato, a bot? He didn't respond. Yeah, what does this do? Deal 1 damage to the enemy HQ. Got a few things I'm thinking of here, but I guess I'll just go for that combo and make him operate the Achi. Wow. Goes straight for the HQ damage. Pins my boy. Okay. If this is a Germany deck, there's going to be a countermeasure here. Potentially. There's not. Just feel my opponent cringing here with every move. Okay, so we're not going to be able to bring the Panzer III-L to bear. I can't take this out. I feel like let's make him operate it. Let's make him operate it and pressure him. Probably going to run into an elite card here soon. And we've got a lot backing us up here with the Panzer III-F and everything, so... Here, I could put this down. And then Panzer III-F. Boom. Buffs everything. And then we're going to put a lot of pressure to ensure that our opponent is going to have to... Actually, I don't want him taking the front line, so I'm going to move this up. Just going to apply that pressure so that he knows he has to take out our units and stop hitting our base. There we go. That's what I wanted you to do. In here. Got 2 of them? That was odd. Kind of feel like this is AI. But I'm not sure. We could deal 5 damage if I just go like that. And then I think we win the game on the next turn here. See what he does. Just playing out his hand. Okay, we've got at least 1 more game in us here. Let's just dance a little bit. Sometimes it's fun. Celebrate a little bit here. Okay, put another one in the books, and we're just gonna keep grinding here. This is what I love about this deck so much. Basically, you can churn out game after game after game, and you're gonna know what your win percentage is really quick. You're gonna know if the deck works or not, whatever different variation of deck that you guys can build. I would say it's not a fairly cheap deck. It's a fairly expensive deck, which is definitely one of the downsides. But it's just a lot of fun to play. And as you can see here, we're up against a field marshal. And we'll see how this deck does. Got a Soviet deck. Soviet decks play great. I feel like the Soviet decks are #1 right now, to be honest with you. And just a few reminders, what you do poorly against with this deck is life gain, heavy removal decks, particularly decks that have like sweepers, you're always going to want to kind of make sure that you win or have a plan for carpet bombing in turn 7, because that'll deal 3 damage to all of your units. So I put this down. He's got 1 showing. So it could be a Careless Talk. I don't know who his ally is. So I just want to play around Careless Talk and do that maneuver. What else we got? We already talked about guard. Desperate Measures is the 1 card that shuts down this deck because it does 2 damage to all of your cards, all of your units on the field. Okay, so we can play around Pin. And I kind of feel like he's wanting me to put stuff out on the battlefield so that he could sweep it. Maybe he has a Japan Tora, a couple of those. Yep, I was wrong. Okay, so we're going to be able to blitz once. Let's see here. We could put down 2 of these, but again, if we go wide, he could literally sweep everything that we have. We might get burnt, but let's go ahead and try this. Let's just get straight up units out and pray that he doesn't have a sweeper or an AoE spell. Sorry, order. I'm an old Magic the Gathering player, so sometimes I mix up my terminology. Okay, so he gets a win there, but if I draw Fast HEINZ, he's not going to feel so good about removing that USA card. We got it from the depths. And I could play Rally and do 6 damage. Or I could do quite a bit more. We could get 3 damage in, or I can move this up. I feel like we should prioritize holding the front line. I don't know. He could just remove this, though. Let's get the damage in. I feel like we're going to be able to hold the front line. I'm not entirely sure. But this is so expensive to operate. I don't want to operate it without dealing damage and then regret it later. And if I found one of my bounce spells, that would be awesome. I kind of feel like he does not have pinning, so Rally is a big potato in this deck right now. But when you need Rally, you need it. That's the thing. And it does replace itself. So it's a cost-benefit situation. That's why we have only 1. But if you get Montied and then you can follow up with Rally, let me tell you, it's such a good feeling. And typically win after that. Okay, so he gets that in. The question in my mind is, can we win next turn? And if he can't remove any of my other units, we can win. Able to operate that? Okay. Okay. I can do like, what are we talking about here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I could deal 7 damage. If I don't attack that, it's going to get buffed no matter what. Let's see what the next card I get is. When in doubt, damage your opponent. Okay. I can just bounce something. I feel like this holds up a lot better. Keep my peeps alive. Yeah, this card in this deck. This is the only deck that I like 99th Infantry. I did have a bounce deck, but there's too many ways to play around it these days. I might try another bounce deck, and it will be Germany/USA because they have all the bounces in them. It's just there's too much removal. And the bounce is good because you can just flood the enemy's hand with cards. And he has no board presence. You can get through and hit the base. Okay, they trade. We expected that to happen. Okay, he gets the rifles down again. We're good there. But you know what? Panzer 35T turns on. Uh-oh. I forgot about that card. My bad. Big mistakes, boys. Got to get rid of that one. Move him up. And let's get Careless Talk into play and hopefully win next turn. I feel like he's got to remove the J. Okay, there it is. There it is. But we're going to shut the door on him. We're going to make sure he doesn't get another guard down. He's going to have to play a couple guards here to win the game. And then I'm not going to... I'm sorry. I'm going to have to draw patrol if he gets a guard down that I can't remove. So we'll see how it goes. Bye-bye. I like that. Now we gotta survive the next card. Wait, what happened? Okay. Some big just come out. Oh, something entirely small. Yikes. Come on, Careless Talk. Just need one of the M8s to stay alive. I doubt it's going to happen. But this is a close game. So if we lose this, it's going to be 2 losses. I wonder if he was... People misunderstand this card. Because I was wondering if he was hoping for a guard. But it always seems to add cards to this side, to the right side. Which is actually very important. Okay, well, the Careless Talk didn't do much. Make sure that our opponent doesn't have a countermeasure to trigger, and there it is, boys. 3 for 3. I did not try to like make this video like 50 times or something. This is my first take. And yeah, I really enjoy this deck. This is my main deck. Germany, USA Blitz. So if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. We got Patreon. We got channel membership on YouTube. I stream on Twitch every Sunday night. And come out with videos on YouTube every Thursday. So there's many different ways of supporting the channel. And yeah, I hope you join me for the next video. See you on the next one, guys.